Hi everybody, it's Monica from tlcmonica.com. On this channel you're going to find videos all about teaching ESL online and how to grow your brand so that you can walk away from that 9 to 5. Yes. Bye-bye. On this video you're going to find tips on how to handle and work with students who are struggling, whether the lesson is too difficult and they have been placed in a higher level than they should be, or if they're just distracted and having a hard time focusing. So I have 5 tips for you. Number 1, take turns reading, whether it's line by line or even word by word, depending on how much is on the actual slide. Teacher goes first and then the student repeats. This way you can really hone in on any grammar issues or pronunciation issues. If it's a long sentence, just break it down into sections and go from there. Repeat as necessary. 2, if there are a lot of difficult items in the lesson that the student is struggling with, try to focus on 1 to 2 items instead of just going through the whole lesson and they get nothing out of it because they're struggling with the few things and they're going to think about those few things the whole lesson through. So if you can try to focus on 1 to 2 items, really work on those so that it improves their confidence and they'll feel like they got something out of the lesson rather than just feeling completely defeated at the end of the lesson. Make sure that you are putting that feedback in so that the parents will know what's going on and what they need to work with. Maybe the learning partners can work with the parents on getting the child put down into a lower level. 3, find out what type of learner your student is, whether they are a visual learner, which I like to use extra aids in my class for those students. It could be something simple, like because there's a lot of rules that they have to remember. So if you can have like a little cheat sheet nearby, and so when they're answering the questions that you can say, hey, remember the rule for go and goes, and they can look and it'll click easier for them. So that really helps with the visual learners. Audio learners, if you need to repeat more or sound things out in a slower pace, that way they can pick it up as they listen to you. That helps. Kinesthetic learners, they need to move around. I have a student that he was really struggling with paying attention. He knew the answers. He was able to answer. It just took him a minute because he was too busy. Like, you could tell he was getting antsy. He needed to move around. So he eventually just stood up, grabbed his basketball, started dribbling the ball, answering the questions like that. It was like a light bulb went off. He needs to move around. So maybe you might have that student that needs just to be able to move around and he can focus more. 4, repetition with action. If you are a hand talker, this is going to be really good for you. A lot of kids need that extra little aid where you can use your hands, use your TBR, ball, in between, box. Okay, so something a little extra for them to see what you're talking about and what the word actually is. That really helps. So connect your words with your TBR action and then repeat so that it clicks. 5, last but most important is patience. You have to allow your student the time to try and see what works for them. If the pacing takes too long, go back to just focusing on the 1 or 2 items that they can get down and get more confident with, to give them that opportunity to find their success within that lesson, whether it's the 1 or 2 items or the whole lesson, big or small, it does not matter. You're focusing on building their confidence, whether it's baby steps or the whole thing. Whenever you deal with that struggling student, you're going to have at least one in your teaching career, I guarantee it. So just remember, be patient, be consistent, also praise often, and you're going to see that confidence just start to build up and shine through, and you'll be a better teacher for it. All right, talk to you later.